guys, if you're new to Deception Bytes, hit the like and subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell to be notified of future videos. If you wish to support the channel, the links are in the description below. Now, fasten your seatbelt. Here we go. Hey guys, I'm back and it is Monday, December 3rd and it's 9:28 p.m. Eastern Time. Now we do have Q posts to go over and that's what we're going to be doing this evening. We're going to get caught up to date on that, but I'm only going to be doing one video tonight. I've got to get up tomorrow at the crack of stupid. So this is going to have to be it. Let's get started. And we are going to go over here and start at the very beginning of today's post because that's a very good place to start. All right, and here Q says, odds of a state funeral on D5. And remember, D5 is referring to many things, but here he's referring to December 5th. He says, how many coincidences before mathematically impossible? And then he says 68-95-99.7 rule. Well, what is that? Since probably most of us are not statisticians, I can never say that word, and I certainly am not. I'm horrible at math. But what that is it is for normal distribution, almost all values lie within 3 standard deviations of the mean. So this would be a normal distribution pattern right here that I have clipped out from Wiki. And it says, in statistics, the 68, 95, 99.7 rule, also known as the empirical rule, is a shorthand used to remember the percentage of values that lie within a band around the mean in a normal distribution. Now, what is he saying? What is Q saying? He, she, they. Well, he's saying that there's so many so-called coincidences that it's mathematically impossible. It's mathematically impossible. And he's correct. There's been too much at this point. I have to laugh at the shills that are coming out of the woodwork to say, well, you're an idiot. You seem like you're a smart girl, but, you're just an idiot for believing this stuff. Come on, dude. If you go back from the beginning, it's really easy to kick a barn down, but it takes a lot of skill to build one up. Instead of kicking the barn down, why don't you go and learn how to build your own? Just saying. Just saying. Look into it. Stop being so lazy and expecting everybody else to do your work. And I appreciate the fact that many of you come here to listen to what I have to say about this because you're busy. You're working full-time jobs, going to school, taking care of families, what have you. And you may not have time to dig into this as much as I do. I'm not talking about you people. I'm talking about the people that just blindly refuse to look into it themselves, but want to destroy everybody else that is trying to bring this to other people. Anyway. All right, I'll get off my soapbox for now, and we are going to continue. Here we go. Here's the next one. And Q says here, now, one other thing here that I wanted to point out. Look at the timestamp for this. Could be nothing, but it's odd. 12/42/42. I don't know, but that seems odd to me. And I don't know if anybody else has pulled that out and figured out, maybe could be a coincidence, could be, but we know that Q likes to do things with timestamps, so don't know yet what that means. But let's go on. And here it says, it gives us a link to an article which we're going to look at, and it says DOJ policy does not discuss ongoing investigations. Majority of leaks by them serve to their benefit. Some do not. So what he's saying is most of these things that they leak are for their benefit, but not all of them are. Some are designed to provide the public with a glimpse into the shadows. Glimpse equals leverage, or glimpse leads to leverage. Leverage leads to panic. Panic leads to the running of the rats. You've all heard of the running of the bulls? Well, this is the running of the rats. And yeah, because dark to light. You know, when you turn that light on, and boy, I've lived down in Louisiana, and now you have to be on top of things to keep the roaches and everything out of your house. But I've heard horror stories about some nurse friends that went to houses where literally you turned the light on and things would, yeah. So anyway, we won't get into that. That's not even a very nice picture. But anyway, that's what we have here, the running of the rats, because the light's on, they're running. And some of these leaks that, they think that they're so clever in getting these leaks out. Well, some of them haven't worked to their benefit. And some of them have given us a glimpse into the shadow, which has given us leverage. That leverage has led to their panic, and now they're running scared. So, well, do we feel bad for them? No. Not any more than I feel bad for, the roaches. I mean, I do have compassion. I need to rephrase that. It's not that I just don't care or that I wish them harm. I don't wish them harm at all. I wish them to be brought to justice. And that is exactly what I wish. Now, okay, this is the Epoch Times. And here it says, 4 investigations share a common thread. And this was from November 30th, and it's been updated today, December 3rd. Now, what does this say? News analysis. If anyone tells you they are tired of nothing happening with regard to ongoing investigations, perhaps they should take a closer look at a number of events that came to light over the past few days. In a manner that caused no small amount of worry and consternation among supporters of President Donald Trump, the Daily Caller reported on November 29th that the FBI had raided the home of whistleblower Dennis Nathan Cain. The raid, which took place on November 19th, involved 16 FBI agents who had obtained a court order signed on November 15th by federal magistrate Stephanie A. Gallagher in the U.S. District Court for Baltimore, according to the Daily Caller. No reason for the 10-day delay between the raid and his lawyer's public announcement was given. Cain, whose name is new to the public, isn't just any whistleblower. He retains a top-level security clearance and maintains a number of security-related credentials, according to his resume, which has since been deleted online. Specialties include the FISA Amendment Act, FAA Section 702, and USSID SP 0018, minimization procedures and signals intelligence authorities. According to the article, Cain privately delivered documents pertaining to the Clinton Foundation and Uranium One to a government watchdog, according to the whistleblower's attorney. The Justice Department Inspector General was informed that the documents show that federal office officials failed to investigate potential criminal activity regarding former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, the Clinton Foundation, and Rosatom, the Russian company that purchased Uranium One, the article states. Now, let's go down to here. Cain also had obtained official whistleblower status from DOJ Inspector General Michael Horowitz. And remember, if we go way back to the beginning, Q told us to trust Horowitz. So he is not one of the bad guys. All right. Anyway, Michael Sokaris, Cain's lawyer, told the Daily Caller that Cain had met with a senior member of Horowitz's office and delivered a flash drive along with a sealed envelope containing documents. The same materials reportedly were also delivered to the Senate and House Intelligence Committees. The FBI agents seized all of the official documents in Cain's possession, according to Sokaris. The Daily Caller said that one document they reviewed showed then FBI Director Robert Mueller failed to investigate allegations of criminal misconduct pertaining to Rosatom and to other Russian government entities attached to Uranium One. How the Daily Caller was able to review any documents following what was reported to be a full seizure remains unexplained. There have been strong reactions to the news, with many perceiving it as some sort of cover-up. However, a few facts are worth entertaining. Regardless of the FBI seizure, both Inspector General Horowitz and the House and Senate Intelligence Committees already have the documents in their possession. The FBI seizure of documents from Kane doesn't indicate the documents are being hidden. As noted in the article, the FBI agents obtained a court order, which means their identities are known. FBI Director Christopher Wray, if he doesn't already know, could easily determine the agent's identity. This wasn't a clandestine operation. Another possible issue might have to do with Kane himself. Very little is known about him other than he's a whistleblower, which generally conveys images of positive actions taken by a well-intentioned individual. However, we know nothing of Kane's true motivations or the actions that lay behind them. It may turn out that the invasive raid by the FBI was fully warranted. Another explanation may lie within the documents themselves. The FBI's actions may be related to a chain of custody issues. The FBI may have been required to ensure that all evidence was accumulated and taken into their custody. It's possible this document seizure by the FBI may indicate a case against the Clintons and or their foundation is actively underway. That's exactly what it signals. That's exactly what it signals. Yes, we know that. It's been underway for a good long time. It just hasn't been out there, but it has been. The Chicago raid. The FBI raid on Kane's house wasn't the only one. On November 29th, federal agents raided the offices of Alderman Edward Burke, a powerful Chicago politician who has held his position in Chicago politics for 50 years. Burke's office windows were covered and FBI agents remained on the premise for about 7 hours, according to media reports. Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel, who abruptly announced in September that he would not seek re-election, said his office had no advanced warning of the raid, noting, "I know what I read in the paper. I'm out there. That's it. You are asking hypotheticals, and I'm not going to do that with the FBI walking around his office." Burke, who had been under federal scrutiny on several occasions, has never been convicted or indicted. His investigation is being handled by the Public Corruption Squad for the local FBI office. So much happening, people. So much happening right now. Burke's law firm specializes in property tax reductions for his clients. Some have speculated that the raid could be connected to work that Burke's law firm did for the president, but there are several problems with that theory. The Burke investigation, according to the Chicago Tribune, was being conducted in conjunction with the U.S. Attorney's Office in Chicago, not Mueller's office. Additionally, the Sun-Times reported the raids were in response to new allegations and not prompted by any past controversies that have swirled around Burke. Dan, boy, that's a name I cannot pronounce. We'll call him Dan. A reporter for WBEZ in Chicago was somewhat more direct. Worth also noting today, Burke's huge role in the local Democratic judge-making process. One judge just told me, "Everyone's crapping themselves here." That's a lovely picture, isn't it? Yeah, no. The investigation probably has more to do with corrupt Chicago politics than anything related to the president. Oh, I don't believe it's related to the president at all. Money laundering probes. Two other events with more international scope have also been underway. Several banks are currently under investigation for massive money laundering scandals that is likely to only grow larger. Danske Bank is being investigated by the U.S. Department of Justice, and new charges were filed this week by Danish authorities. The bank's CEO and chairman both have been forced to resign, and numerous current employees are under investigation. Danske Bank has admitted that approximately $230 billion has flowed through one of its units in Estonia, but the focus now appears to be shifting to other financial institutions. Howard Wilkinson, a former Danske Bank AS manager who blew the whistle on its multi-billion-dollar laundromat, told lawmakers in Brussels that when it comes to shell companies or limited liability partnerships, the UK is worst of all. He said he was legally prevented from naming the other banks involved, but urged lawmakers to treat the bank scandal as a case that goes well beyond its core in Estonia, and that according to Bloomberg. So here we go. I mean, now let's look also, and then we also have the Deutsche Bank, and that came about because of the Panama Papers, which I know that you probably are all aware of. And let's go down to here where it says Clinton donor charged. Lastly, in a November 29th DOJ press release, 3 executives, including Abul Huda Farouki, were charged for their roles in a scheme to defraud U.S. military contracts in Afghanistan, engaging in illegal commerce in Iran, and laundering money internationally. Farouki, I guess that's how you pronounce his name, or I guess it's a man, was the CEO of Anham, a defense contractor based in the United Arab Emirates. This wasn't the first time Farouki or his company have been involved in allegations of misconduct. In a 2013 article by the Daily Caller headlined "Clinton Donors Get a Pass on Shady Contracting." Well, what's new? Haven't they always? Farouki and his company were highlighted. Well, in June 2011, the Defense Department's Office of the Special Inspector General for Iraq Reconstruction released a scathing report on a defense contracting company called Anham. The title of the report and its conclusion were the same. Poor government oversight of Anham and its subcontracting procedures allowed questionable costs to go undetected. The article then asks a simple question. Given prior violations, how was Anham able to secure an $8 billion contract in Afghanistan that allowed it to illegally ship supplies through 2 Iranian border crossings and a seaport controlled by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard? That is a question, isn't it? It's a good one. The $8 billion contract, along with illegal shipment of supplies being cited in the 2013 article, appear to be exactly the same violations being alleged in the 2018 DOJ indictment. So why weren't Farouki and his company charged with these same known violations back in 2013? The answer may lie within Farouki's main connections to the Democratic Party. Doesn't it always? Doesn't it always come back to the Democratic Party? Always. Anyway, so let me see. Well, yes, naturally, Dianne Feinstein's involved. So why weren't Farouki and his company charged with these same known violations back in 2013? It lies with his connections to the Democratic Party. The Daily Caller notes that Farouki is a longtime donor to Senator Dianne Feinstein and donated to Obama for America in 2008. But Farouki's closest tie lie with the Clintons and their foundation. Farouki, a member of the now shuttered Clinton Global Initiative, participated in annual CGI meetings since the group's formation in 2005 through at least 2010 and made multiple donations to the Clinton Foundation. Well, naturally, who didn't? Canada gave what, 22 million? Oh, and they're just giving away another, what was it, 50 million or something like that? Oh, we've got lots of money. Let's all give it away. Oh, it's just nutty. It's nutty. All right. So, yeah, well, we knew that the Clintons would be involved. Dianne Feinstein, well, that's, that's another one that doesn't surprise me. But Farouki also made donations to Terry McAuliffe and has been photographed with Huma Abedin. Well, naturally, who hasn't? There appears to be a common thread among what may appear to be unrelated events: the raid on the whistleblower, the raid on the Chicago politician, the investigations of European banks, and the charges brought against a Clinton donor. All the activities targeted were either occurring during the Obama era or, in the case of the DOJ whistleblower, were directly related to underlying events from that time. There may be more going on than meets the casual eye. Oh, I can promise you that. I can promise you that. There's much more going on than meets the eye. I had a feeling there was a bunch of stuff related because all this bank stuff that's happening and all these things that seemingly are unrelated. It's all related to, I believe, investigation into the Clinton Foundation and other unsorted, unsavory, nefarious activities that happened during the Obama administration. All right. Let's go back to Q. And here we go. Now, this says the public is about to learn that the DOJ FBI, plus other U.S. foreign assets have been actively working behind the scenes in one of the largest criminal investigations in modern day history. D-class, the purpose is to illuminate the truth. People, the truth to the people. Okay, so this D-class, the purpose of this D-class is solely to illuminate the truth of what has gone on to the people. Because we have been under this false narrative that has been propagated by the deep state, and they seem to control the reality, but that is shifting, and it's shifting very quickly, and that is why there is such panic in DC, because the pendulum is going to swiftly shift back, and I think people are going to begin to open their eyes, like they are in France. You really think that they are protesting fuel tax? No, they're not. They're protesting the migrant invasion of their country. They want their country back. It's pretty simple. And they've even heard these people chanting, "We want Trump, we want Trump," holding up Q signs. Now, you don't see any of that in the media, do you? Although, wouldn't it be, I think that it would be normal for a country, if the leader of that country is, there's other countries saying, "Oh, we want this person to lead our country." You would think that there would be pride in the American people and say, "Well, look, this is our leader. The world wants our leader," and put that in the news. But no, they're not going to put that in the news. No, they're too dead set on hating him. And you know why they hate him? They hate him because they can't control him. They have nothing on him. And they know that their noose is tied, so to speak. So there you go. It has nothing to do with what Trump himself is doing or anything else. They can't control him, and people hate who they cannot control. So let's go on here. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't read it all. Okay, D-class, the purpose is to illuminate the truth to the people. Transparency is the only way forward. Controlled media, enemy of the people. And what he's saying is what he's always said, that the media, the fake news media, is the enemy of the people. And it is, because we can't even tell what's true or not true anymore. We certainly know that if it's on the mainstream news, it's probably not true, or else it's been twisted and manipulated so that it doesn't even really resemble the news anymore. They're gonna put it across the way they want to put it across. They're gonna put their spin on it. It's their narrative. It's being given to them by the deep state, and they run with it. But it's not going to work for them too much longer. Oh, times are changing, my friend, and I am glad. All right, let's go on to the next one. And here it is. Now he leaves a link, and it's to the House calendar, and what he says is postponed. Well played, deep state. Please allow us to counter Q. Now this is Q at his very finest, if you ask me, because there's a little bit of sarcasm on there. And well, anybody that has been listening to me more than a couple videos knows that I do love sarcasm. And so that is Q being sarcastic, because this was not planned. This funeral for the 5th was not planned. This was a ploy by the deep state. I believe that George Bush was dead before it was announced, well before it was announced, and hence the tweet by Comey about his dog. And I think that they delayed the funeral so that they could deliberately interrupt the plans for December 5th. Well, Q is answering them on that, and he's saying, yeah, it's been postponed. What was going to happen on December 5th, it's been postponed. Yep. Well played, deep state. Well played. But please allow us to counter. Now, these people, Q, that team, Trump, these people are way ahead. So when they say, oh, please allow us to counter, oh, You don't want to mess with these people. Seriously. The deep state, I don't think they have any clue. I really don't think they know who they're messing with. And now, on the other hand, I know that they're dealing with a hydra, like a multi-headed swamp monster, basically, is what the deep state is. And it's very hard to kill it. But we've got to hope and pray that it's done, because it's going to buy us more time. Now, I am not of the mindset that we are going to go into this peaceful new world and Trump is going to, bring all this peace and prosperity. Well, he may. For a time, he may. But that is not how the world ends according to Scripture if you are a believer. So I'm just positing that, because I don't want you to think that I believe that we are going off into some utopia, that if Q wins, if Trump wins, that it's just going to be a utopia. No, I don't believe that. I think he may be buying us more time, but we'll see. Anyway, now let's look at this calendar that Q has provided a link to. And Sunday, of course, nothing. Monday, nothing. 4th, Tuesday, tomorrow, is the Subcommittee on Regulatory Reform, Commercial and Antitrust Law at 4 o'clock, and it says postponed. And we've got this on Wednesday the 5th, Subcommittee on Emerging Threats and Capabilities, that's at 10 a.m. And then Committee on the Judiciary, that was going to be on at 10 o'clock, but that's been postponed. And Subcommittee on Environment, that was going to be at 10 a.m., and that's rescheduled to Tuesday, December 11th. And then Subcommittee on Government Operations, that was going to be at 10 a.m. That's been postponed. And the Committee on Veteran Affairs was supposed to be at 10 a.m. and that too has been postponed. So what Q is saying is that, it's been postponed, but allow us to counter. Please do, Q. Please do. Counter away. We're waiting. We're watching, and we've got our popcorn popped. All right, then the next drop is here, and it's just simply the Great Awakening, Q. And I do believe that there are many waking up right now. We can see that with the riots across Europe. People are fed up. They're fed up. And they tried that crap here with the migrants, flooding us with migrants and, who possibly have disease, who are possibly, criminals, what have you. They're doing the same thing. They're trying the same thing here. And in Canada, well, it's too late for us. It's too late for us in Canada. I cannot wait to get back to the United States. I really cannot. I do believe it's too late for Canada. Now, I pray that I'm wrong. But we let in, let me see, over the last few years, we let in 1.8 million immigrants into Canada. 1 million of those were Muslims. 1.2 were Muslims, and they are not integrating. They do not integrate. So it's hard. It's hard to be civil with people that, because you're a Christian, want to cut your head off. But anyway, I digress. Now, the next Q post here is a tweet from Trump. And Donald J. Trump said, "Watch Sean Hannity tonight at 9." Now, unfortunately, I don't have a way to watch Fox News because I don't do TV, and I do get a lot of stuff on computer, but so I will try to see what this was all about. If any of you guys are watching it or did watch it, please put it in the comments below. Maybe the highlights or what you thought about it. I would really appreciate it, and I'm sure other listeners would as well. All right, now let's go on to the next one. And this is an interesting one. Again, classic Q, classic Q. He says, the art of trolling the fake news media. Step 1. And he links to a Twitter account. It's President Trump's Twitter account, and this is what it says. I've already clipped it out for us to save time. He says his wife and father-in-law, who has the money, off scot-free. And notice how he spelled scot-free. That is a spelling error, and he did that on purpose. He lied for this outcome and should, in my opinion, serve a full and complete sentence. Now, so that's step 1. Step 2. Now, let's go look at that. Oh, President Trump and Q, you are the master trollers indeed. All right, President, and this is from People, President Donald Trump's latest misspelling has Twitter users wondering who is scot-free. I don't know. Honestly, it's hard to make this stuff up. Really. If this was a novel, I bet you any of us reading it would be like, nah, that could never happen. Really. All right, let's see this. What are they saying? Oh, they like to bash Trump, don't they? During his latest Twitter rant, President Donald Trump made a comical error. Oh, was it that comical? I didn't think it was that funny. I think we all understood it. Actually, we understood it before Q posted this because some of us caught it. Anyway, during his latest Twitter rant, President Donald Trump made a comical error while arguing that Michael Cohen, his former personal lawyer who recently pleaded guilty to lying to Congress, shouldn't get off scot-free. Last week, Cohen pleaded guilty to one count of making false statements regarding a real estate deal Trump was pursuing with Russia during the presidential election, telling the court that he lied in order to keep up with political messaging and out of loyalty. And in a memorandum filed on Friday night, Cohen's lawyers asked that their client avoid jail time as he's fully cooperating with special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation, reported CNBC, but that doesn't sit well with the president. However, while making his argument against Cohen, Trump humorously misspelled the term scot-free, which refers to avoiding punishment in such a way where it seems like he was instead referencing a person named scot-free. Michael Cohen asked judge for no prison time, Trump tweeted on Monday. You mean he can do all of the terrible unrelated to Trump things having to do with fraud, big loans, taxis, etc., and not serve a long prison term? He makes up stories to get a great and already reduced deal for himself and get his wife and father-in-law, who has the money, off scot-free. He continued he lied for this outcome and should, in my opinion, serve a full and complete sentence. So anyway, now, and somebody said, it says, quickly stepping in to chide the president for his mistake, many social media users asked the commander-in-chief to explain who the mysterious scot-free is. LOL, who's scot-free? Prodded one Twitter user. One question, who is scot-free? Was he a Bowling Green massacre veteran like yourself? Wrote another, referencing a fictitious terrorist attack that Kellyanne Conway once invoked in order to defend Trump's travel ban. Anyway, let's go back to Q and see what he meant, because we know that his spelling errors and all that are all intentional. But these people haven't learned. They haven't learned in all this time that Trump's been in office. They don't get it. They just don't get it. All right, well, let's look at what scot-free is. Yeah, let's do that. I am itching my nose. I am not picking it. And don't you accuse me. Stop judging me. All right. Now, Scot-Free Productions, interestingly enough, is the company that made White Squall. Now, what is White Squall? Well, that is where the term, where we go one, we go all, comes from. That's where it comes from. Now, let's go out to, I hope I have it here. Here it is right here. And this is the White Squall 1996 movie trailer with Jeff Bridges and Scott Wolf. Remember, the production company is called Scott Free, spelled exactly as Trump spelled it. And this is the part in it. I can't play you the whole thing, even though later in the drops, Q does link to this. I can't because it's the music in it is copyrighted. And yeah, I don't need any grief from YouTube because I get enough. So here, let's just listen so that we can prove to you that it's in here. All right, let me go back. You might not have heard this, and let me turn this up just a bit. Let me know how the volume is on these clips, because I've had people say it's way too high, they're getting blasted, and then I adjusted it. They're saying, oh, it's way too low, I can't hear it. So please let me know when I get to the point where it's just right. And let's take this back a little bit, and here we go. So that is where that saying comes from, and I guess it's also on a bell somewhere, on a yacht. I don't know. I can't remember now, but it's in a couple places. But it's definitely in this movie White Squall, which is apparently supposed to be a very good movie. I don't think I've watched it. It doesn't ring a bell that I have, but I'm aware that that came out of that movie. Now let's go back. So there you go. He was just trolling. So yeah, first one is, Trump made the tweet. Step 2, get the media talking, as they always do, because as soon as they can jump on Trump for something, that's what they're going to do. They think he's an idiot. So then they all jump on. Step 3, White Squall is the movie. The production company is Scott Free. Where we go one, we go all from the movie. Thank you for playing Q. Gotta love them. I think they do that honestly just for entertainment. I think once in a while they say, look guys, look, I'm gonna put this. Watch the press. I really do. I think they do. I think that they just it's how they pass the time. And you know what? If I was them, I'd do the same thing. I really would, just because I'm mischievous. All right, and then this is the YouTube that we just looked at, so we don't need to go back out there. And then we're up to this one. Now, this is an odd one because, well, it is and it isn't, but I don't know who he's talking to, because Q puts the link to the Secret Service, how to join, how to apply, and FBIjobs.gov, working at the FBI, how to apply. And then beneath that, he says, if you decide to change careers, your name has been entered to be fast-tracked. Whose name? How does Q know? Like, if I was sitting here and I thought to myself, you know what, I'm gonna apply to the Secret Service, which I don't know legally if I could do as a green card holder. I think you have to be a full-fledged American citizen. But anyway, if I was a citizen full, and I hope to be at some point, and I applied, how would Q know my name? I don't know. What do you guys think of this? It just seems a little odd to me, because it says if you decide to change careers, meaning whoever's reading this is the you he's talking to, your name has been entered to be fast-tracked. Odd. I think it's a little odd. Anyway, so let's just go take a look at this. Just I want you guys to be aware of everything that Q is posting here, and I'm just going to try and close some of this. All right, sorry, I just wanted to speed this up a little bit. It was, all right. And here we go. Get started on your career path today. And I think this is for the Secret Service, Special Agent and Uniform Division Officer entry-level hiring process. Phase 1, competency. Phase 2, security. And then there's job opportunity announcements. So you guys that are American citizens and looking for a job, I guess if this appeals to you, then go for it. Administrative, professional, technical, and clerical. And there's all sorts of job announcements here. Let's just click on this, see what there is. I don't know. Written examination, APAT applicant physical abilities test. Well, that leaves me out since I have a spinal injury. So there you go, even if I was a citizen. So there you go, and let's go back. And we will click on the other link just because we can and because Q wants us to. And this is the FBI site and how to apply to that. So again, FBI jobs, home, career paths, students, veterans, working at FBI. So everything here that you need to apply. So is maybe Q is intimating that there's going to be some openings. Don't know. What do you think of that post? Because I think it's a little odd. I mean, I don't think it's odd that he would put these links in there, but what I find odd about this post is that he says your name has been entered to be fast-tracked. Well, how does he know who's gonna apply? I don't know. Anyway, let's go on. There's more to see here, people, more to see. And here is the next one. And Q is making reference to an anon from December 3rd who wrote the following. Okay, is the plot moving forward? And actually, this is from today, December 3rd. This anon wrote this. Okay, is the plot moving forward? I think we all understand the characters in conflict at this point. Time for the plot twist? D-class. Finally? And Q responds to this person and says, the President of the United States initiated and confirmed the order when he stated the calm before the storm. Now, when was that? Remember when he was standing there with all the military people and he said, you know what this represents right here? And they said, what? He said, the calm before the storm. And they all said, what calm before the storm? What do you mean? You'll find out. Okay, that was stated on October 5th of last year, okay? That's when President Trump made that statement, the calm before the storm. So when was that statement made? October 5th. When did Q go active? Well, Q's first post was October 28th. So 3 weeks later, Q showed up on the scene out of the blue. Nobody was expecting him. He came for dinner without even phoning ahead. So when did Q go active? About 3 weeks later. Now, so what Q is saying here is, look, you know what? The plot has been moving forward since we first announced this on October 5th of last year. It's been moving forward all this time. All right? That's what he's saying there. He says the President of the United States initiated and confirmed the order when he stated the calm before the storm. So yeah, it's moving ahead. And when did Q show up? Q was all part of the plan. He showed up 3 weeks later. Now, he says, watch the news, watch the FBI, watch the DOJ. Q. So that is our answer there. Yes, it's moving forward just fine. Everything's on time and it's moving ahead. And that is it for the Q posts. All right. Now, because I'm not going to do a Q-related news tonight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over here. Now, those of you that are just interested in Q, you can shut the video off now because this may not interest you because I know that there are some people that come just for Q and aren't as interested in the Q-related news, and I get that. That's fine. But I do want to update you on a couple things, so stay tuned if you want to hear that. Now, let's go over here. There's some really interesting things here, and I'm going to just kind of slide over a couple of these things, and then I'm going to hit on more tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll get more of an opportunity to post tomorrow. Now, oh, it's interesting, too, that the guy with the patch, the Florida, this guy right here, this guy, the sheriff in Florida, Broward County, that showed up with the Q patch, And the Q patch says question the narrative. And thank you for the person that linked me to a close-up of that patch. I appreciate that. Now he's been fired apparently, or he's been removed from special assignment. Conduct unbecoming an employee. Yeah, right. And look at everything else people in Broward County do. The guy shows up with a patch and he's reassigned. Anyway, but it's fine for the newcomers to Congress to change the rules about headdresses. That's fine, but don't wear a patch. Don't ever wear a patch. All right. Now, there's something here. Hopefully I can find it, because it's important. It's very, very important. No, really it is. Hang on. Oh, I can never find it when I need it, but I did want to touch on this as well. And I thought this was funny too. I'm just going to read this real quick from someone called Cat Turd on Twitter. If Bill Clinton would just invite all the women who have accused him of sexual assault to his and Hillary's speaking tour, they'd finally draw a huge crowd. Oh, isn't that the truth? And down here, this is a pretty jaw-dropping right here. Meet corrupt James Comey's brother, Peter. Here's Peter Comey, and guess what he does? He's a Clinton Foundation attorney. You can't make this stuff up, people. Peter Comey is an attorney for the Clinton Foundation and has been for years. James Comey, bad cop and henchman. Yeah, that's just, I could say more. The corporate media forgot to point this out. Yeah, I don't think they forgot. And this is interesting too. I found this on Twitter as well. The Timberwolf, of course, Timberwolf is George Herbert Walker Bush's name, that Secret Service always gives each president their own name. And I can't remember what Trump's is, or maybe we don't know what Trump's is. If you know, put it down below. Anyway, the Timberwolf is the main villain of the 1987 drama movie Benji. And remember Comey's dog, Benji, that died? Remember? That's how they linked. He was talking about George Herbert Walker Bush. Okay, so the Timberwolf is the main villain of the 1987 drama movie Benji, the Hunted. He is a violent, wrathful, and sadistic wolf who is set on killing Benji and the Cougar Clubs. He is the boss of Eagle. And now, Eagle is the U.S., the Secret Service code name for Bill Clinton. Interesting. His vocal effects were provided by Jack Angel. The Timberwolf is quite small compared to most North American wolves. He is slender. He is a slender black wolf who is part dog and has bluish brown eyes and grayish white fur on his upper jaw and nose and on the lower half of his legs and paws. So, and so this is the code name for George Herbert Walker Bush, alias Timberwolf. Origin is from Benji, the Hunted. It's from that movie. And occupation, predator, power, skills, teeth, speed, strength, manipulation. I just think this is interesting, especially considering Comey's tweet about Benji, his dog, dying. Yeah, that had, oh, and by the way, James Comey doesn't have a dog. So there you go. That just shows you. That's how they're communicating now, because their communications have been disrupted. So they talk to each other in code on social media. That's what they do. And that is what he was referring to, the death of George Herbert Walker Bush, when he said his dog Benji had died. Yeah, the dog he doesn't have and never did. All right. Now this is interesting too, because this is a further explanation to something that I was a little bit confused on, but I do think that this person's right. Joe M. says, I am excited to learn what classified white hat technology that was hidden from us before was activated on 11/11, the day that Q told us the world was unified. Everything is about to change. Welcome to Earth 2. Don't know about all that, but one day we're going to learn what earth-shifting event happened on 11/11 where mysterious seismic waves traveled 11,000 miles across the world for 17 seconds. Q knows. Oh yeah, Q knows, definitely. And this as well. Let me hit on this. Hillary Clinton's salary has never been more than $186,000 a year. Yet somehow her net worth is $240 million. How does that work again? Can Mueller hire a mathematician to figure that out? No, I don't think a mathematician could figure that out, but perhaps a forensic accountant could. Now, there's one more thing I wanted you to see, but I can't find it here. It's about the flight. Remember the airplane that we saw? Well, let me just tell you about it. The airplane that we saw, that was, remember, we knew that it was an airplane from China, and it had, it was Air China, and it was from Chongqing. Now, apparently, someone has tracked that, and I will try to find it for you for tomorrow's video, but someone has tracked that, and it was a flight that went from Chongqing to South Korea. So there you go. Now what that means, I don't know, but I bet it's going to be in the news upcoming. Remember, there's 8 players involved in that. Remember the picture of the vestibule of the Hyatt Regency in Chongqing, China, and we figured that it was for the initials HRC. There's 8 people involved in that. Then Q showed us the picture of the airplane. Well, that airplane was Air China. It went from Chongqing. That particular flight went from Chongqing to I believe it was Seoul, South Korea. So there you go. I don't know what that means, but I bet you it's going to mean something coming up. So I think I'm going to leave it there for tonight. And I will be back tomorrow, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. And thank you so much for listening. Thank you for all you guys, for your comments, for your coffee, for everything. I really appreciate it. I've got, honestly, I think the best group of listeners on Facebook, or on, not Facebook. I don't know why I always call YouTube Facebook, but I do. Anyway, I will defend that to the death. I think that I have the best listeners. So there you go. Thanks so much. Stay safe, stay well, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Good night.